Hi, guys. Welcome to our third session of this first reading of 2023 that is called Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And as you may know, we will continue discussing the second chapter or the second story that is called The Husband and the Wife. Those will be pages from 59 to 80. So let's continue. Hi guys, so today we will continue discussing the second story that is the wife and the husband, whereas if we remember, it is the story of Fusagi and Kotake. That is a couple that they have been married for a long period of time. But, Fusagi, the guy who was reading the travel magazines, he is sick. He got, Alzheimer. So recently we read, last time we were discussing that finally he forgot his wife. So Kotake feels a little bit sad, and then we stop our reading there. So we will continue discussing from there, and well, it is a very long story. It's a very long story, but we will finally see what's happened with these two characters. As we were discussing last time, it is a bittersweet story. So let's continue. Okay. Firstly, as I was telling you, we stopped when Fusagi finally forgot his wife, who is Kotake. And Kotake at the same time is a nurse. So she is sad, but she says that, well, at least, as a nurse, I will continue being in his life. And it was a very sad moment. So we have another character that is, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. It is um Kotake Kasu. Just 1 second because I forgot the name. Kay. Yeah, that one. Kay. That is the wife of the owner of the cafe. So Kay is trying to cheers up Kotake because of the situation. And there is another waitress there. I remember it is Kasu. So, Kay just brings it is alcohol. I think it is called Seven Happinesses or yeah, Seven Happinesses. So they start taking shots. And well, they are taking shots, and finally they saw how the lady in the white dress sitting in the spot when you can travel to the pass just leave in order to go to the bathroom. And in that situation, well, they were discussing. Oh, sorry. I got excited. I told you about, what happened later. So, firstly, sorry, they are taking some shots and this and that, and they are discussing because this a character that I told you that it is Kay. Kay was asking, Kazu was asking, I don't remember who exactly, to Fusagi before he left the cafe, like what was the purpose or why he wanted to go to the past. And he mentioned that he had a letter to give to his wife. So he wanted to go to the past in order to give it to her. And Kay thought it was a love letter. So she's very excited, and they are drinking these shots that I told you. And then, Kay mentioned it to you, mentioned to Kotake. And she said, like, hey, he has a love letter for you. And you should, like, go to the past. Like, you should, go to the past to see what is happening, and like, no problem. And she is very insistent, saying that it's a love letter, but Kotake in her mind is telling us that it couldn't be because Fusagi doesn't know how to read or how to write. So she knew because she started telling us the story when they start dating, that they were friends, and then separately they continued this long distance relationship. And she sent very long letters, and she responds like, okay, that's nice, that sounds interesting, continue being like that, and she sends well, sorry, she sent in past very very long letters. So she felt that probably he wasn't into her, and she wrote a letter, like an ultimatum, saying like, what happened, like, do you want me or not? And he answers like some months later, just like, marry me. She got excited, and they married. And she asked her like, what happened, why you didn't answer my letters in the same way? And she realized that he doesn't know how to read or write. And he was asking around, to his neighbor, like, what does this word mean? And this and that. Or he was like, okay, I think this is, like an overview. And well, he decided like, I think it's a good letter. So he said like, thank you for your letter. But he didn't know how to write. So everything was, like disorder. And well, also, Kotake is, like reminding that she's telling us a little bit about Fusagi in her mind. Also, she tells us that he's a gardener. He likes working with plants. She is describing that, he goes to work early to water plants, to take care of them, and then, he arrives very punctually to his home in order to be with his wife, with her. And as a nurse, she also tells us how was the beginning of the Alzheimer, no, the this disease that Fusagi is suffering right now. And she told us that she realizes that because of some signs. And then, besides Fusagi's back, she consults some doctors in order to confirm his suspicious his thought her thoughts, sorry. And well, that happened. And as I commented to you before, before I got excited and I explained you this, when they are chatting and this, the love letter, and she's reminding her or recalling in her mind her past and how Fusagi was and this and that, the lady in the white dress, she just stood up in order to go to the bathroom. So, Kay got really excited, and it is like, hey, you should just, like, sit down there, like, go to the past, to a time when your husband has the letter, and he can give it to you. Maybe it doesn't change the present, but you will feel better, so why not to do it? And she's very insistent. So finally, well, we know that Kotake knows the rules. She doesn't really believe that you can, or well, that anybody can travel to the past, but like, why not to try it? And so far as she knows the rules, she repeat the rules, she confirmed them, she sat down on the seat, on the table, and she said like, what do you have to do? And well, this Kazu, the waitress that we know that she's very serious. She started telling her like, hey, you should think about a moment when your husband is okay, or when he has the letter and he has the intention to give it to you. And Kotake started thinking about a date. She started thinking about 3 years ago, when he wasn't sick, or he didn't realize, or probably the symptoms weren't so bad as now. And well, she doesn't know about the letter. She didn't know about the letter either before. No. So, well, that's the thing. And she is sitting down, and then, Kazu is pouring the cafe. She knows that she needs to finish it before it gets cold. And well, she travels to time, she travels to the past, when the cafe is empty. There's nobody in the cafe. And well, she is thinking like, well, I am already here, this is the past, I don't know if it is the past or not, but there's nobody around me, it is empty, I cannot stand up and check. So maybe it's like, okay, I wasn't clear about my memory, or I didn't do something well, that's why it didn't work. And when she's thinking this, well, when she's having those thoughts and she is just about to give a sip or to drink a little bit of his coffee, his husband enters, to this cling clong that we have reviewed in the book, the onomatopoeia that the door is opening, the doors, the bell. And she is describing that the entrance of the cafe, it is like a little bit of some stairs, and then you first listen to the door, and then you see the person. So she is like very excited, think like, oh, I probably is the waiter, the waitress, sorry, probably is the owner, maybe this. And when she realizes it's her husband. And well, she describes like a little bit younger. Probably, she was correct. It was some years ago before she was sick, or probably she already knew about his disease, but the signs weren't so bad. They are firstly, he is very impressed of seeing her there, especially because he started to suspect like she's in that seat, specifically in that seat. So they start commenting like, hey, how are you, how are you doing, like this. And well, she really goes to the point there, like, do you have something for me, do you have a letter for me? And he makes some faces. That's why she realizes that probably it was a bad moment, or it was something that she got wrong. But suddenly, Fusagi says like, "Oh, you are from the future. That's why you are sitting there. Okay, so you already know about my disease." And she started discussing about the disease. She want to say that he is very sick, but instead of that, she lies to him. She says like, okay, you will get better, like it will be difficult, but you will get better, we are together, like this and that. And well, he's very thankful, and he gives, or well, he gave the letter to Kotake. And well, it is not like a goodbye, but there is a like a very very love, a romantic scene, or very sweet, more than romantic. It's very sweet because Kotake is describing that he has changed his temper, he had changed a lot because of the Alzheimer, but that she continues feeling love with him, is her husband. And well, after that, they continue like kind of discussing about the disease and not. And finally, Fusagi turns back. He doesn't want to see her leaving. And well, she understood the message. She finally finished the coffee, and then she is into the present. And well, she is crying right now, when she was telling him, or when she was in the past telling Fusagi that she will be okay and this, she was holding her tears, she wanted to cry. And when she returns into present, she just bursts into tears. She start crying because of nostalgia, because of this, because of that, so a lot of feelings. And well, after that, Kay, that was very excited, that was the one who was, like cheering Kotake to do it. She realizes that the envelope is there, that the letter is there. So Kotake opens the envelope. She starts reading the letter, and it is not a love letter, as Kay was saying, but it is a letter to Kotake saying that Fusagi is sick, and that even if he forgets about her, he really, really wants to continue being married with her, because at the end they love each other. And well, in her way, that was very sweet. And then we realizes that Kotake asked the staff of the cafe to call her by her maid name, Kotake. instead of, I don't know, Fusagi's wife. And well, she is like very excited to continue being Fusagi's wife. That we know that this trip to the past like cheer her up to continue with the situation that she's living, because her husband forget about her. And we know that is a very sad situation, but at least, she won't be so delicate, she will fight. Like, no, you're my husband. Remember this, remember that, because that's the thing he wanted to do. And at the end, well, they will continue being a couple, a very not romantic, I will say, very sweet, but that they love each other. So that's the end of the story of both of those. I mean, of those characters, Fusagi and Kotake. As we were discussing last time, it's a very sweet story, but at the same time, is bitter. So it's a bittersweet story. And this time, there weren't a lot of difficult words, but at the end, I will find some that probably you will have some questions about. So, what if we continue reviewing our vocabulary? So, give me a moment in order to, like share my screen. So, here you have it. We stop as we were discussing when Fusagi forgets about Kotake and Kei in order to cheer her up. She brings, this alcohol that is called Seven Happinesses. So we stop there. And then it says here, like che. And it's an expression like, like this. And then it says a faux pas. A faux pas, that is French, and it is un paso en falso, like a mistake, something that was wrong. And yeah, because, when they are just about to drink, you say cheer, but it is not a celebration. So that's why it says that probably she make a mistake. Then we continue, we have here another word that is hasn't. And hasn't means acelerar. So it says, but it's really okay. Honestly, Kotake hasn't to add, waving her head reassuringly. Oh, because probably, oh yeah, they are talking that the situation is bad. So it's just like, oh no, it's okay. And also I'm a nurse. So se aceleró en responder, en decir eso. I don't have any word here, nor here. But here I have some. So before the Alzheimer disease took hold, Fusagi was not the type of person who believed in such tales, no traveling in time. When Kotake Casual mentioned the rumor that this cafe could send you back to the past, he would scoff. Scoff, burlarse. He would laugh. And then, but after he started to lose his memory, the one skeptical Fusagi started coming to the cafe. So one skeptical, incluso él, incluso el más escéptico, incluso Fusagi el escéptico. It's an expression to say just that que alguna vez fue escéptico. And well, there, I don't have anything else. Then here we have one second. Derelict, yeah, derelict town. A small derelict town. So derelict, negligente. Because it has poor. So it was also derelict. Yeah, sorry. Derelict, yeah, derelict. So it is negligente. We continue, and then it is, describing where Fusagi comes from, that he didn't study, he needed to work, and then, at the end, he was like, I don't know how to write, I don't know how to do this. And well, it is also describing about the letters that, they are exchanging, but she is sending a lot of, pages, and he just respond with, okay, yes, no. So here it is telling us that she sent an ultimatum, and then, it says, then one day after those 2 months, a letter arrived from Fusagi, and all it said was, let's get married. So in response, she just says, yes, let's do it. So we continue here. I don't have, any vocabulary, but here, it is when Kotake and Kasu, they start mentioning this brown envelope. And well, this brown envelope, yes, really, really, really means sarcásticamente, con sarcasmo. Kotake smiled really. Not a chance, because she knows that he doesn't know how to read or how to write. Then it says she didn't normally pry into. So pry into people's private lives. Pry in this case, it will be fisgonear. Pry into, fisgonear, adentro de algo. What? People's private lives. So pry into. We continue. And then I don't have any here. Then I have sight. Sight, well, it is here in past, but sight it is like suspirar, sight. So, no words here. Oh yeah, here, they say she gulped down her glass of 7 happinesses. Remember that gulp, it is just like gulp. And then it says, calling it a love letter, dispel, despejar, her feelings of guilt. So despejar, because they are saying like, okay, let's continue drinking because the love letter, it is not possible. So, she wants to forget. Kate nods, not that vigorously. Remember that not is this. And then it says, her nostrils flare excitedly. So nostrils, these are our nostrils, and flare, se ensancharon, se hicieron grandes, like this. And well, it says, here no vocabulary then. Oh, here. Then it says, the cafe chairs all look like antiques elegantly shaped with cabriole legs. So cabriole legs, cabriole, it is a kind of car. It is a car that was pulled by horses, but also it could be the capotable car, that you can remove the roof of the car. So here I understand that probably is because they are very thick, they are firm like the horse legs. Probably it is just describing how, the chairs look like. Then it says the seat and back were unholstered. Unholstered means tapizado, the seat in a moss green fabric. Moss green, moss, it means musgo. So it is, like a green fabric. Una tela verdosa. Verdosa like what? Like el moss. And estaba tapizada, unholstered. The seat and the back, the seat and the back. And well, she's describing because she already traveled to the past. The cafe looks a little bit different. He looks very new, like they are taking care of it and everything. So she's describing the cafe. That's why it says, the chairs has very thick legs, and then that everything is covered with this fabric that is color green as the moss. Then we have mossiness, and mossiness, It is verdoso, verdoso like mo, mooso, because it says that everything it's clean, even if the cafe has been open for more than 100 years. So it looks new. And well, she's continued describing the cafe. And then here, no vocabulary. Then here, oh yeah, because I guess she's repeating the rules. I don't know if she already is in the past. Probably yes, probably no, guys, but she travels to the past. I already spoiled you this. Well, it says, as this cafe was in a basement, there was no mobile phone signal. Hence, and hen is a linker that means por lo tanto, there was no chance of going back and calling someone who wasn't there. So, oh yeah, she's already in the past, I guess. And it says like, well, I'm already here, but I cannot call anybody. There's a by sign. So she can't. And then it says, Kotake had heard that several years ago the cafe had become quite famous, attracting a throng of customers. A throng. It will be muchedumbre, multitud, like a lot of people who all wanted to return to the past. With all these maidening rules, and maidening, it will be enloquecedoras, they, one second, they got you mad. Yeah, they get you mad. Loco, te enloquecen. So, maddening rules. And oh well, he's is here saying that, oh, I'm sorry, she hasn't traveled to the past. She was just thinking about the rules and her husband and the things that I already commented to you. Here it says Kotake suddenly realized that Kazu was silently waiting for her reply. I have to drink the coffee before it gets cold, right? Yes. Is there anything else? And she confirms the rules. She is about to travel in time. And then here it's oh yeah, she is like thinking so fast, like, well, what do I have to think about? Like, what kind of moment, what kind of this and that? I don't know about the envelope, so how I will know where should I travel or when I should travel to. And well, it says that it's pointless. It is, like, I will try not to mess up. And then it says here, the silver kettle. Remember that the kettle, it is the container of the cafe. From the tray. The tray, it is this flat thing where you put, the mugs or the cafe, and then you take them to the table. Waitresses use tray. What is a tray? Bandeja. And well, it says Kazu, just remember, Kazu paused facing Kotake with downcast eyes. Downcast, downcast, it means abatidos, she's like, drink the coffee before it gets cold. And the soft words echo through the silent cafe. Then we continue, and it says the narrow spout of the silver kettle, spout, la boquilla, the very beginning, the hole. It, unlike the gurgling sound made, the gurgling, when it is gorgojeando. Why? Because it is pouring into the cup. Then we have here that the cafe is, like, excellent, is special, this, and then it says a whiz of a whiz of steam. Remember last time when, Fumiko traveled, she was describing this very fine steam. Well, it is the wisp, hilito, mechon, the line. It says, a steam rose from the now full cup. At the moment, everything around Kotake began to ripple and shimmer. Ripple, torcerse, and shimmer, centellear. Like lights, like something it's, like getting around you. Then it says, she recalled the glass of seven happinesses she recently down. So, like drunk. She recently took. And then we have here, perhaps I'm feeling the effects. Yeah, because she's, thinking about the shot she drank. But she's like, no, this is different. So, replaying and shimmering again. She's telling us that everything start a torcerse. So, like getting around her and shimmering, centellear. And then Kotake closed her eyes, not out of fear, but in attempt to focus. Then she opens her eyes and then she says that a landscape gardener's work does not simply involve pruning branches and ranking leaves. Oh, she started thinking about her husband. So prune means when you have a very, very big grass on your garden, you prune it. Or when you are taking care of bushes or some bushes, you prune them, los podas. And raking leaves, it will be to like cepillar, like rastrear, like rastrillar, that one. Because it's with, this tool that you are doing this. This is raking leaves. He has to consider the balance between the house and the garden. The garden cannot be too colorful, nor it can be too plain. So it's describing Fusaki's job as a gardener, that he has to pay attention into details. And he is describing that they began early but finished at dusk. Dusk, atardecer. Then here, Kotake heard the sound of the door knob turning and a voice from outside saying, "It's me." So door knob, door, it will be the handle, the place where you take the door, a turning in order to open the door. And here it is, like telling us that she is very excited, thinking she's very also scared. She doesn't know who he arrives to the cafe. And then it says that suddenly she saw his husband, and is describing the look, because she says, but there he was, looking as he was did, and he always did, dressed simply in his gray gardening smock with his navy breeches. Breeches, it will be, instead of jeans or pants, it is just like some trousers, like short pants, like that kind of, pants. And well, he had taken his tool bag from his shoulder and looking a little ashamed of himself, admitted, "I got lost." That happened around the end of summer 2 years ago. So she realizes when, the time she came back. And she also told us that it was just the very beginning of those symptoms when he realizes he got sick with Alzheimer. And then she even consulted a doctor behind his back, as I was telling you, because she's a nurse. She started realizing some symptoms, some things. So she consulted a doctor. She was keen to, like, keen es apasionado a, but here is like really, really exciting about doing this, like, yes, of course, I will do it. Quinto, apasionado, a punto de hacer algo por, try anything that may slow. So, like un fanático. Yeah, because she's telling us that she was trying to get any kind of treatment in order to slow the disease, or to slow the symptoms. So that's it. Then it says, just 1 second. His brow seemed permanently furrowed. Remember that furrow is this. So the brow, las cejas, the brow. And then no more words. And then it says, finally, the dizzy sensation of rippling, the torcerse. Remember, she's dizzy. Everything was turning around her. And shimmering faded. Remember that fade? It is desaparecerse. When some men, they get a haircut and it's fade. It is that I don't have hair here, but then I start having hair. It is don't remember the word in Spanish. Just one second. Desvanecer. Yeah, exactly. Desvanecer. So, um, then it says she didn't know whether she had actually gone back in time. The cafe had no windows and the light was always dim. And dim, it is tenue. Unless when on look at the watch, there was no way of knowing whether it was day or night. But something was different. Casu had vanished. Vanished, desvanecerse. Kay was nowhere to be seen either. Kotake tried to calm herself, but she was unable to stop her heart from beating faster and faster. She once again looked around the cafe. There's no one here. She muttered, like murmuró. The absence of Usagi, who she had gone back to meet, was a huge disappointment. She looked at the ceiling fan in a daze. I think we just came back. But anyways, it says her please. And please is en su apuro. Um, mm, 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 I think, yeah. I don't know if I got back, guys, but I would just continue, because I don't remember the scene. I don't know if she is already with Fosagi in front of her or we just came back to her thoughts. But anyways, she looked at the ceiling fan in a daze and considered her plead apuro en la situación tan complicada in the moment she was living. That is a negative one. So it was a shame, but perhaps it was for her, for the best. Yeah, I think that Fusagi hasn't arrived. Maybe I just, like, oh, okay. I dive is a love letter, clangs and enter to the cafe. Oh, well, I think here, is when Fusagi is coming to the cafe. It says she is thinking that probably since the cafe is empty, it was a waste of time and this and that. And we know that she was thinking about her husband and the gardener's job and this and that. And then she listens or she heard that the door is opening because the clang dong that we know those are the bells. And well, here it says Kotake start describing that in order to arrive to the tables, you have to cross, and it says a small patch of flooring. So that is, un pedazo de piso that must be crossed first. Once the bell rings, there is a time lag of a few seconds before the visitor takes those 1 or 2 steps and enters the cafe. So it says that you open the door, you walk a little bit, and then you take the steps, and then you are already, in the cafe. So when the bell rang, Kotake had no idea who had come in. Was it Nagare or Kei? Oh yeah, okay. So she doesn't know. She was thinking it was a memory, the one I told you about, with the look. Um, and well, here, finally Kotake had Fusagi in front of her. And it says that his appearance, he was wearing a navy polo shirt and a beige knee-length shorts. Knee length a la altura de la rodilla. It was what he often wore on his days off. So he's not working. It must have been hot outside as he was fanning himself with his black zippered portfolio. Fanning, remember that a fan, it's, a fan, the one you use for blowing you air. And fanning, it is just, the action, the verb. The black zipper portfolio. It is a portfolio and it opens with a zip. That's it. Then it says, for a while staring at her with an odd look. So an odd look, it is weird, like, like thinking. Hi there, she began. She felt clueless, despistada, like what is happening, as to how she was going to broach. Broach, it means abordar, what she had come to talk about, because remember that is that envelope. He had never stared at her like this, not since they met, let alone since they had been married. It was both flattering and embarrassing. She had formed a hazy image. So hazy, it is borrosa. Image of 3 years ago, but she didn't know how to make sure that was that where she was, you know? Maybe she hadn't imagined it right, and if that was the case, what was to say was by some mistake she had got the three right, but she had only returned to 3 days ago. Oh, okay. So she is thinking like if she really came back to the past 3 years ago or 3 days ago. Because she doesn't know. I mean, her husband looks different, but she doesn't know how to ask him, like, hey, do you know about the envelope? Like, have you written that letter already? And well, she's thinking about that, and they start having this conversation like, is it really you? Like this and that. And then it says, oh, here, you know who I am? Because, she is saying goodbye. I mean, sorry. She's saying hi, hi, this and that. And then, like, do you know me? So, is it really you? She said, huh? You know who I am? What? He looked at her with bemusement. And bemusement, it is like, I cannot believe you. Like, perplejidad. But she was, of course, not joking. She had to make sure it was obvious that she had returned to the past. But when? Before or after the onset of the Alzheimer. And remember that the onset, it was the beginning. So just say my name, she said. Are you going to stop messing with me? He spat out of crossly. Spat, it is the past of spit, escupir. But in this case, it is not like, no. It is not spit like that. It is that he just, like say it abruptly. He spat out crossly. So crossly, enfadadamente, like, what are you talking about? Like, are you going to stop messing with me? And well, she realizes, Kotake realizes with that he remembers her, that he got probably 3 years ago. And then it says, Kotake smiled as she gave her coffee an unnecessary steer. Steer, it will be, I move it a little bit. Fusagi observed Kotake and her peculiar behavior. You're acting a bit strange today. So, is when he realizes, oh, Fusagi is thinking that Kotake came from the future. So here it's that's odd. No one's here. He grumbled. Grumble, refunfuñar. He's like, nothing is here. Why? Something like that. Then she raped on the table to become him. Become him? Oh, yeah, because he is like, hey, she's sitting down and he enters. He is like, okay, there's nobody here, but she's like, become him to sit down. Like, hey, come, invitar. So, but he wins at the idea. Wins, it is like, hacer muecas, like respingar. No, I'm fine, he replied. And, we know that Fusaki wasn't very romantic. In this case, he says, a mature married couple sitting down there like that, nah. Fusaki said a little crossly, and crossly, enfadadamente, the crevice between his brows deepened. The crevice, la hendidura, la grieta, he's doing this. So la grieta, or, the line that he is forming. Wrote in that way, it wasn't that he was displeased. On the contrary, it was a sign that he was in a good mood. So the sign, the gesture he was doing, It was a sign that he wasn't upset, that he probably was shy, you know? So he would know that he was very shy about showing his feelings. He wasn't very romantic. But then, it says here, now anything he said brought back waves of nostalgia and happiness. She absent-mindedly sip the coffee. So absent-mindedly, it is like sin darse cuenta, like she took it. She is sipping little by little. She is, drinking little by little her coffee. So let's just continue. And here, oh yeah, because she is in a hurry, so she needs to ask about the envelope. So Kotake is asking Fusagi like, "Hey, don't you have something to give me? Like something like this? It's brown and this." So here it is. She saw that Fusagi make a face, and she's thinking like, "I have blown this, like lo eché a perder, like it exploded." It is spoiled. She remembered that something similar had happened soon after they were married. Oh, yeah, because she told us that when I think it was her birthday, her husband was preparing a gift, but she got excited. Or no, 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 she didn't get. Sorry, she didn't get excited. She was cleaning one day before, so she found the gift. She got excited, and then to know the her birthday, um, she was very excited. And before he get her the gift, she asked him like, "Hey, don't you have something for me?" And well, her husband thought immediately that she has discovered his gift. So he got mad and he says no. And then he threw away the gift. Well, his wife found it, but either way, like she thought that she had blown it, like echado a perder, like, okay, I make the same mistake again. And well, it says it was his favorite dish. He seemed to be in a sulky mood. So sulky, it is an adjective that means, one second, malhumorado. You know, but this usually lifts his spirits. Oh yeah, because she's telling us that she tries to prepare his favorite dish in order to cheer him up. Then it says an expression here that we have for the time being. She wanted to forget the letter for the time being. For the time being is exactly the same as for now, for the moment. So por el momento. Then it says he wasn't that straightforward. Straightforward means directo, like right to the point. This was Fusaki before Alzheimer. Even his sulky face was precious to her. It was bliss to be with him again now. So it says that Fusaki wasn't directo, he wasn't right to the point. And not even before the Alzheimer, he was even with the sulky face, malhumorada. Remember that we just saw it. And right now, just the fact to be with him, it was happy. It was happiness. So bliss, una felicidad, to be with him again. So, sulky malhumorado, bliss, felicidad. Then we continue. Oh, sorry. Then we have, he was striking an imposing stays. So striking sorprendente and imposing stays, postura, as he glared back at her. What's wrong? She hadn't seen him like this before. You're from the future. Oh, finally he realizes that, Kotake comes from the future. And well, it's like, okay, so you're the future. You already know about my disease. So here it says, she had been transported back to the summer of 2 years ago, the time when he began losing his way, when she began noticing the telltale indicador the telltale signs of his illness, los indicios, los indicadores, the signs. And well, here it is like, oh, so sorry. The Fusagi standing before her knew was, oh, okay, yeah, because, um, she is finally sure when is the time she came back that she knows about the, probably in the present, she knows that he's ill because of some signs, but that Fusagi already knows about his illness too. So here it is just telling us that, and then it says the Fusagi standing before her knew he was ill, and so it was likely that the content of the letter concerned his disease. Also, that the way he reacted with such dread when she mentioned the letter seemed further evidence. Dread, it is fear, el miedo. Here is like, so don't you? Like, sabes, no? He said forcefully, pressing her to give her an answer. So like, forcefully, as we saw it before, it means enérgicamente. She couldn't see how she could lie at his stage. She nodded silently. I see. She regained her composture. So regain, it is like se reacomodó, like ganó de nuevo, like se recompuso. Mm, 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 mm. Then we continue and it says, she felt deep, deep regret for coming back, but now was not the time to be wallowing. So wallowing in this case is abatido, abatirse, to be sad. But he was gone silent. My love, she called out to the despondent looking Fusagi. So despondent, aire desalentador, he was like, oh, probably thinking about the worst. She had never seen him looking so depressed. It was heart wrenching. So, heart wrenching, it is like que te apachurra el corazón, desgarrador. He suddenly turned his back on her and walked back towards the counter where he had been sitting. He picked up the black portfolio. From it, he pulled a brown envelope and walked back to her. His face showed no sign of wrenchedness. Wrenchedness, miseria, desdicha. He began to mumble. Remember the mumble? It is to murmurar, to decir like, in a throaty voice. Throaty, rasposa, like deep. That was difficult to hear. The you living in this time doesn't know about my illness. He may be under that impression, but I already know or will very soon because she's a Nora. She has been, doing some exams behind Fusagi's back. So I just don't know how to tell you. And, he's telling her that that's the reason why he wrote a letter. Here I don't have vocabulary, and then it says, she looked at him in trepidation. So trepidation con inquietud, con temor. Staring at him, she noticing how forlorn. Forlorn, it is a word that means desamparado, desolado. He was really, really sad. His expression was now, because they are talking about the Alzheimer, that his wife in the present doesn't know. He doesn't know how to tell her about the future. And then Kotake is there from the future. Probably he's thinking why, that probably everything goes worse and worse. So that's why he is very like sad. And then it says she had never imagined that he could look that way. Lost for words, she couldn't even maintain eye contact and found herself casting her eyes down. So remember, cast, it is arrojar. So, like to look down. I see, I fear as much, he murmured sadly. He bowed his head. He bowed his head. Bowed, inclinar, like una reverencia. Her eyes well with tears. Well, well, in this case, it means inundar, se llenaron. Remember that well, it is un pozo. So in this case, llenarse with what? With water. After being diagnosed with Alzheimer, he had struggled each day with the dread, again, miedo, and anxiety of losing his memory. Yet, she, his wife, had not seen how he had borne these thoughts. So born, it will be transmitir, asumir, and feeling alone, because he doesn't, probably he doesn't want to speak with anybody about this. On learning that she had come from the future, the first thing he had wanted to know was whether he had forgotten her, his wife. This realization filled her with both joy and sorrow. Sorrow, pena, she said. And well, she here is when she decided to lie to him. And it says like, actually, your illness does get better. And we have in breaks what she really wants to say. I don't have vocabulary here, but then it says that she had a lump in her throat. Remember that she's lying, so she has, we don't, well, it is not like a knot, but it's a lump, un nudo, un bulto, something that, it is difficult to speak. You want to cry. So they are, exchanging some word like, oh yeah, you really get recovered. Like, yes, this. Oh yeah, like that. And he looked happy. Oh, really? Yes, she said. And then it says, you can throw it out. He said, oh yeah, because it's like, so do I have to read this? And like, oh no, if I get better, like threw it away. And then it says I'm so sorry. It says, he said, handing her the letter more forcefully. Forcefully, enérgicamente, like, okay, if I get better, like, here you have it. Like, yeah, take it. If you don't want to read it, like, throw it away. His tone was different from his normal gruff self. Gruff, remember, oh, I think we haven't seen it, but it's ronco, with a deep voice. Um, and then when they are just about to say goodbye, so Fusagi reminds Kotake to drink his coffee. It says, drinks up, your coffee will go cold. She nodded, and then he turns back, and they are just about to say goodbye. My love, she cried out without thinking. He didn't turn around. His shoulders appeared to be trembling ever so slightly. Trembling, it will be, like moving, like temblando. Ever so slightly, ligeramente. So probably, he's crying. And well, she drinks the coffee. As her hand drew back, it seems to dissolve into steam. Yeah, because she is, like traveling into the present again, with everything this thing and that the sensation. And it says this fleeting, and fleeting means fugaz. This fleeting moment when they had once more been together as husband and wife had ended, because they finally were, I don't know how the communication was between them, but this moment, this fleeting moment, gave them the chance to speak about a very difficult and deep topic. So fleeting, fugaz. We continue. I don't have vocabulary here. And then, oh yeah, they are talking about the letter. And it says, it was written in basic script, all squiggly like crawling worms. Squiggly garabatos. Squiggly, like crawling worms. Crawling que se arrastran. So in this case, worms, gusanos, so, like garabatos, like, when a kid is learning how to write and it is like, not very confident in her handwriting. So that's how it looks this. It was definitely Fusagi's handwriting. So as Kotake read the letter, she held her right hand to her mouth to stop the sobbing as her tears fell. Sobbing, it will be sollozar, so she was crying while she was reading the letter. Kotake's shoulders began to shudder, to move, to sacudirse, and gradually she began wailing louder and louder. So wailing, llorar, like, at the beginning she was okay and then she couldn't stop crying. It says Kazu and Kei stood there looking at her. unsure of what to do. Yeah, they didn't know how to react, you know. She was reading the letter, she was crying, and they didn't know how to react. So I don't have anything here, not here. And then it says, amid the anxiety and fear of losing his memory, he was hoping that she would continue to be his wife. She was always in his heart. So, you know, after Otake read the letter, she realizes that, you know, her husband was really, really scared of losing his mind. He was dreading, you know, he was really scared of that. And well, but even though he really wanted to continue being his husband, like they were a couple, he made a promise for the rest of his life, so he wanted to respect that. And I'm so sorry for the notifications. So then, you know, it is explaining this, and then it says amid the anxiety. So entre todo esto, amid, it is an expression that we saw last time again. And amid, en medio de todo esto, en medio of this anxiety and fear. So we continue. I don't have vocabulary, but then is when, you know, they are saying goodbye. They finally like feel better about the future, and it says, sure. She said, leaping up and relinquishing the seat, leaping up, saltando, relinquishing, abandonando, you know, like dejando, because she's saying like, go goodbye. The woman in the dress reappearance. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, she wants to leave as soon as possible, but here she doesn't move because of that. She moves because the lady in the white dress just came back to the table. You know, after she goes to the bathroom. So it says like here it says move, she said in a low voice. Sure, she said, leaping up and relinquishing the seat. So you know, like saltando y dejando, renunciando, like abandonando the seat, like quickly. And I don't have here, but remember that green, it's a big smile. It says, I'm going home, she said in a bold, confident voice. So bold, it is fuerte, valiente. Remember that also when you are talking about font, bold, negrita. So it is, you know, like remarcando, like fuerte. In this case, atrevido, valiente. Kazu gave a small nod. Remember that nod, it's moving your head in this way. Kay was still sniffing, like, because, you know, she was crying. Kotake looked at the still teary Kay. Still teary? She was still crying. So, still teary. Um, um, oh, she's paying for the cafe. And then it says, she said, and doubled back into the cafe. Kazu and Kay looked at her inquiringly. Like, what happened? You know, you were just about to leave. Why you came back? One more thing, Kotake said. Starting tomorrow, no more calling me by my maiden name. So, you know, maiden name, apellido de soltera, nombre de soltera. She grinned broadly. So broadly means like in general, like big, you know, she grinned because it was a bad situation, but you know, she is happy, she grinned. And well, Kotake and Kazu said like, okay, you know, we will call you Fusagi's wife, or I don't know, Fusagi's something. Okay, got you, she said happily. Tell everyone else to do it. Clang dong, she finally left the cafe, and then it says that Kazu, it is with the money in her hands, the money that Kotake um, gave her. And it says that she took the money until the till. And remember that the till is this big and old machine that we already know how is it because of the previous chapters or the previous pages. When it is an old machine, when they are just, you know, like clicking the buttons and opening this box when you put the money in and you close it, the register. Okay. And well, that will be it of this second story, the third session. It was a bittersweet story. I really recommend you to read it if you or reread it in order to understand better probably some parts. I know that it sounds very confusing right now, but well, so far you already know what is happening or happened. That Kotake traveled to the past, how everything is happened. You know the envelope. What is the envelope or the letter saying? And well, how is or what is the resolution of this second story that is about Fusaki and Kotake? I would like to listen to your opinion, so feel free to send a message. And well, also, I hope you continue reading in order to see you next Thursday at 9 p.m. Remember that it will be the fourth session, and we almost finished the book. With this chapter, we arrived to more than half. So it is just one half left for the next two sessions. Thank you so much for watching this video, and well, I will see you later on. Thank you so much. See you later. Bye.